Wait, so. Okay. I'm gonna roll with it. Ready? Yep. Okay, I'm ready. Better. I know. We're gonna start the meeting here in about 10 seconds, so please take your seats. And we are live with the new recording system. This is a new and improved recording system we have. This is what we've been told. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody tonight to the first meeting, which is the community development meeting for Monday, April 29th, 2024. There are currently 3 items on the agenda. The first one is the approval of the community development meeting minutes from April 9th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Mitchell, seconded by Mr. Schneider.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, before I go any further, I wanted to announce that Councilman Lippian did notify me that he could not make the meeting tonight. So just wanted to get that out there. Thank you. Item 2 is the matter of a request to vacate a portion of 51st Street between Leona Street and Perkins Street. And who will be speaking on this topic? Okay. Yes, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and we'll be listening.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lori Lozier. My address is 9112 Fern Cove East, Olmsted Falls, Ohio. I'm here on behalf of McGregor PACE. PACE is the program for the all-inclusive care for the elderly, and we've been awarded by the state, the County of Lorraine, to open a PACE program. We currently have a PACE program in Ohio only in Cuyahoga County, so this is exciting for us.
Anything else you'd want to add or explain what that is?
Oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
okay,
So
you're
PACE
fine.
is an interdisciplinary program for managing older adults in the community, safely in the community. That is our goal. The goal is to, quite honestly, these are nursing home eligible people, and our goal is to keep them out of the nursing homes. They are also dual eligible, most of them, so they're Medicare, Medicaid. And the premise is that we provide all their medical care, we provide their therapy, we have nursing care, nurse practitioners, dietitians, we feed them. They come to our day center for socialization. It's an all-encompassing program to help the family keep the older adult in the community.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from anyone on the committee or on the panel? Okay. Okay. At this time, I'd ask Law Director Deary to chime in.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. For engineering and/or the building department, since this is a vacation or a partial vacation, are there any issues as far as utilities or anything like that that were discussed at Planning Commission? I know Planning Commission did approve this. It appears. I just didn't know if there was anyone who was here to weigh in on that. Not to put anybody on the spot, but
Okay, it appears engineering is saying there's no issues in building department? Okay, well,
Thank you.
thank you to both of you. And I'll ask one more time if there was any questions, concerns, or comments in regards to this. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mrs. Davis.
Through you, Chair, not that I'm on the committee, so this facility is coming up in my area, which I welcome, and so glad to see that we're having something of this sort in our area, since they only have one around, and we're going to be like another second pilot of it. My question is, and I wish she'd come back up, so we're rezoning what? What does this,
Through you, Mr. Chair. So this is here for the vacation of part of 51st Street. That's what this is before the
what street?
51st Street.
Oh, 51st Street,
Yes.
okay, I got it.
And my understanding, and please anyone from the city, correct me if I'm wrong, is the way that these parcels are, McGregor Pace owns everything on either side and surrounding, is that correct? Currently? Is that correct? So it's not really going to affect anything, it's just that based on the blueprint of the building, oh. See, look at that, that director just knows
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes.
State Service Director.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. That is correct. It's a paper street that goes through the multiple parcels that are there, but there's no street in place. It's probably something that's been on the books for a long time, and due to their desire to develop it, it no longer, that's what we're asking to do, is just take it off the paper.
So, so through you, Mr. Chair, in order to complete the prior request that went through, and they're basically reworking these parcels in order for their building plan to go through, this street needs to be, the street that's not really there, but in formality is there. The request for vacation needs to take place, and that's why it's being considered, in order for them to follow through with basically building over it, even though there's not really anything there.
Through you, Chair, does the city own this part? Because I don't want somebody to come out of the woodwork saying that they own that part of the land. Who owned that parcel that you're talking about?
So right now, I mean, it is a street, but it was never,
Used as,
I mean, you can't drive on it. I mean, yeah, right, I mean,
so it belonged to the city?
yes, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
that's
it's, well, no, I should say that. I mean, it's a right of way,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Thank you.
So I'm sorry, so by vacating it, it would basically be absorbed back into the adjoining parcels.
Okay, I saw Mrs. Soroka's hand up next.
I just, through the chair, 51st is going to be then cut off and will be a stub street, correct? It'll be a
Three-
no outlet?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I mean, right now it goes, 51st, as I'm looking at it here, goes from between Perkins and Leona, but it doesn't go any further in practice. And I'm looking at the director, he's giving me a look here. Yeah, in practice, it already does, is that correct?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, I don't have the document that you have before you.
Oh, sorry.
However, it's my understanding that this was a paper street. It was on a plat. That's all it was. It was never built. So at some point, when they separated parcels, they put a paper street in there with the idea that maybe someday it would be developed. Well, the company who wants to build there owns all of it. And so what they're doing is basically saying, please take that proposed street from a long time ago out of consideration officially so that we can build in confidence over that property. So that, it was never built as a street. It was maybe somebody's plan at one point, but even till recently, it was all wooded area. Most of it was wooded area. There was no street.
Thank you. Pardon? Yeah, I know. Was that all you had, Mrs. Swerka? Okay, you're welcome, thank you. Mr. Oswald?
Through you, Mr. Chair, and I think in the Planning Commission meetings, when we were discussing this, we don't have no underground, no sewers, no storms, no nothing, so it's not like we're vacating that, it's just property. It's simple, so they just put a street back there so they could four-wheel back there, who knows, but it should be real simple. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Are there any other questions, concerns, or comments? The law director is chiming in a little bit further with we'll wait for her to finish up with the, okay, out of respect. Okay. Thank you, law director. Okay, seeing no further comments, questions, or concerns, I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of a request for vacating a portion of 51st Street located between Leona Street and Perkins Street. This is an ordinance authorizing the said vacation request. Please note that this matter was passed by the Planning Commission on April 2nd, 2024. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Oswald and seconded by Mrs. Mitchell.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
And thank you all for bearing with me in my explanation.
Well, thank you for chiming in and educating. Thank you. Okay, item 3, it was brought to my attention along with the clerk's office that this item will be tabled. We currently have numerous parties working on it, and they're going to try to get it to us as soon as possible. So that, hopefully next meeting, but no promises, so, but we're hoping. Fingers crossed. Okay, at this time, I'd ask Mr. Tolet to please call finance.
This time, I'll call finance to order.
Thank you, Mr. Tolet. 4 items on the agenda for finance. First one will be the approval of the joint meeting minutes from April 9th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Mitchell, seconded by Mr. Schneider.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, earlier this afternoon, the clerk's office was, it was indicated to them that the item 2 will be tabled to an unknown date. Okay, item 3 is the matter of a request for an exception to the city's subordination policy for rehabilitation loan at 154 Bell Avenue. Director Scott.
Through you, this has been before the committee a couple of times already. The homeowner is requesting an exception to our subordination policy so that she may proceed with a reverse mortgage on the property. Our policy states that no subordinations will be granted where the total of all existing and proposed liens against the property would exceed 90% of the appraised value. And if there's cash out, then the total of all liens on the property would not be able to exceed less than 70% of the appraised value. We did receive an appraisal from the bank. The house was appraised at $84,000. So the amount of the proposed mortgage as well as the city liens totals $145,000. The homeowner, I did talk with her. I thought that she was. I don't see her here tonight. I thought she was going to be here, but our last conversation was you were requesting a quote for the stair lift that she is proposing to put in her home. So that quote was received, and the quote is for $3,722.17. The bank also did confirm with me that the proposed cash out is just over $12,000.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions, concerns, comments? Mr. Tolet.
Through you, Mr. Chair, co-chair. This subordination is against our stated policy, correct?
Through you, yes, she is requesting a waiver of our policies.
Just wanted to double verify that. Thank you.
Mrs. Sawarka.
Thank you. Through the chairs, it seems like a small amount. If the chairlift is one of the things that she needs to do, I know she had some other concerns. Are there any other funding sources for this chairlift for her?
Through you, I'm not aware of any. We did inform her that she could, possibly try the County Office on Aging to see if they were aware of any funding sources, but I'm not sure if she's reached out to anyone.
I would, through the chairs, I'm very concerned about the large amount of the
Okay.
debt on a property that's not valued and way above our normal, customary, reasonable practices. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Oswald?
Through you, Mr. Chair, and so community development's not in favor of letting this go through, am I correct?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions, concerns, comments? I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of a request for an exception to the city subordination policy for a community development rehab loan. This has been an ordinance authorizing the applicant's request for an exception to the subordination policy. The applicant is Vivian C. Noel at 154 Bell Avenue, Elyria. Could I get a motion? Well, before I ask for a motion, I just want to remind everybody an affirmative vote would allow the request. So is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion just to get it on the floor.
Okay, the motion has been made to get it on the floor by Mrs. Mitchell.
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Oswald. Is there further discussion?
Call for the question.
Oh, Mr. Oswald?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Mr.
Just, can you re-explain how we're voting if we want to?
You were going to do it, Mrs. Mitchell, and you'd probably do it a lot better than me.
If you approve of the loan, her doing it, vote yes. Don't vote no.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Mitchell. Okay. So we have a motion by Mrs. Mitchell, and it was seconded by Mr. Oswald, and
Call for the question.
Mrs. Mitchell has called for the question. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
On behalf of Finance, can I get a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion?
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor of the motion, use the voting sign aye. Opposed, nay?
Nay.
Nay. Motion does not carry.
Thank you, Mr. Tolet.
Somewhere, somebody should.
Careful.
Okay, item 4 for the joint meeting is the matter of real property located near the Elyria Police Department. This was referred by Safety Service Director Panowski. This is Law Director Deary.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. This matter involves potential acquisition, negotiation for acquisition of real estate. There's been a request from administration for the joint community development and finance committees to enter into executive session to discuss this. Obviously, that would involve motion and roll call vote from each committee, should that be requested, or accepted, I should say. So, Mr. Tolet, Mr. Yeah.
And then Finance.
Okay.
Okay, at this time, I'd ask for... No problem.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Mitchell.
before we go into a vote, can we know where the property is located exactly?
This is in, we'll tell you the specifics, but this is in the vicinity of the Elyria Police Department.
Say that again, please.
The vicinity of the Elyria Police Department.
In the vicinity.
In the-
Yes, nearby. I would like to, I don't want to get into any particulars. I'll defer to, before we get into executive session, because we are talking about acquisition and that sort of thing. Potentially action to follow when we get out of executive session. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Okay,
So,
all right, so at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion from Community Development to go into executive session, which will be followed by a roll call vote.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Oswald, seconded by Mrs. Mitchell.
I'll call for the question.
Right, call for the question, okay.
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Callahan,
Aye.
Sarah,
Not on community development.
Oswald,
Aye.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Schneider.
That's it. Oh, we have to do it separately.
On behalf
Just
of,
to be clear, we are doing it separately, even though that Mr. Sarah does sit on finance.
I'll call for the motion for finance, please. Could I get a motion?
So move.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded. Question's been called. Colleen, you're up.
Sarah.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
DeWorka.
Aye.
Tolet.
Aye.
So at this time, we're going to have to ask the audience to please step out into the hallway, and then you'll be invited back in as soon as we're done with our completion of this topic. And everybody turn off their microphones.